Hello, welcome to Eric on The Last Taboo. This is your host, Eric Diaz. And today I'm joined by an old friend, Paul Wood.
Hello.
Hello, Paul. Me and Paul went to high school together back in the late 90s. And Paul is going to tell us about his story of addiction and recovery from both mental illness and addiction. And now, Paul, let's get started. Where are you from originally?
I'm from Coon Rapids, Minnesota.
All right. And do you have addiction in your family?
Yeah, my mom definitely drank. My dad definitely drank. My mom later stopped drinking and switched to pain medication because she had to originally. And then it was a necessity as part of her life. It was something she had to have every day.
All right. And then, do you feel that you inherited some of these genes?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure I did.
All right. And when you graduated high school back in the year 2000, what did you do?
I went to Georgia Medical Institute for surgical technology. Then I got certified as a surgical technologist, and I also got certified as a surgical assistant. Basically, the second set of hands for a doctor.
All right. And what role, you mentioned that you're bipolar before.
Yeah.
What role did that play in just being able to zone out and just do these crazy, because you have weird hours as a surge tech?
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Call, everything. Yeah. I mean, the mania was awesome for it. I mean, it was really great, but it ultimately led to my downfall. I was just chaotic all the time.
Okay. So kind of like addiction, there's some good times, like people have some good times drinking, but the consequences catch up with you after a while.
Yeah, exactly. Like the mania was great for being productive and getting things done, and working and taking call, and it was I loved my mania, but my mania is very bad for me because I self-medicate. I'll do drugs or I'll drink or whatever to deal with the mania. Okay.
And what is it like now? Like a lot of times people feel drained on their medication. Like what is it?
Definitely. I'm on Invega Sustaina. I get 117 milligrams injection once a month, and then I take Seroquel and Depakote, and it kills my mania. I don't have a whole lot of drive to do a lot of stuff, but
it takes some of the good, takes away the good and the bad.
Yeah, and then I'm level now. The kids, I have 3 boys, and they definitely seem to. They're happier with me now. My ex, we're still technically married, but Asia and I, we get along great now.
Well, good for you, because I was on older psych meds that caused a lot of weight gain and caused me to be completely drained, but it's not just about me.
Yeah.
So it's good that you see that, like you're able to be present for your family. So
yeah,
that's good for you. So when did you first start having trouble with the law?
2006. I got a motor vehicle theft, and a violation of the Georgia Controlled Substance Act, which they turned into a conspiracy charge, and a burglary because I broke into the building to steal the 2 trucks. But so I was on first offender felony probation for that from 2006 until 2010. Then I violated with 6 months. I had 6 months left on that, and did 6 months in Cherokee County Jail. And that's where really I started getting on mental health meds. I figured while I was in there, I had to stay there for 6 months. I might as well, figure out what's wrong with me.
And did they have a psychiatrist on staff?
Yes, they had a psychiatrist on staff there.
And they diagnosed you with bipolar?
Bipolar, yes.
All right. And what was that like, having a mental illness in jail?
Well, I mean, it's difficult because I'm manic, and being locked up and being told when to lock down, when to do this, and you can't do it. It's hard for anybody.
It's hard for anyone, but being manic in a small cell would be very. Yeah. I could only imagine.
Oh, I mean, most recently, I've had 2 DUIs as well, and my second DUI finally went to court after 3 years, and I had to do I think it was 25 days or something like that in DeKalb County Jail, which is. You have a morning break and then an evening break. But other than that, you're locked down, for however many hours of the day that it is. And it's a tiny little bitty cell, and I'm just walking back and forth, driving my roommate nuts because they're not getting my medication while I'm in there.
Yeah, that's one thing. What is it like for the roommate?
The roommate, it's no good for the roommate.
Okay, and then your last, tell me about the charge. Tell me about when you got caught trying for. When did you first get have a problem with opiates?
I got hurt in 2004. I broke my elbow at Kennesaw Hospital while I was at work, shattered my elbow, and they put me on pain medication. Pain medication was great. It's like, for the depression and stuff and the mania. Like, I honestly thought like I had found the answer because it helped so much for that. So I started self-medicating with it, and then I became addicted to it. From opiates or from pain pills, it led to heroin. From heroin, went back to pain pills. From pain pills, went to methamphetamines, and there was alcohol for a while.
So you said something when I had a healthcare procedure, and I told them I didn't want the opiate-based pain medicine because I was afraid I'd get addicted to it. Mm-hmm. And they said, if you only take it until you stop hurting, you won't get addicted. But please don't sit around squirming in pain. Yeah. So I actually took it for 3 days, and then I discontinued it. But it said something that interesting that you took it. It was prescribed for pain from the broken elbow, the shattered elbow, but you were taking it for depression.
Yes, that was great for that. Yeah, I mean, it really was. If I could take it without consequence now, I'd still be taking it.
All right. I like the honesty. Do you ever hear people at meetings say, my worst day in recovery is better than my best day at using?
I've heard it before,
and do you ever believe them?
I mean,
maybe so. I don't want to take it once.
Maybe for them, or it sounds good.
It sounds good. I don't like taking other people's like inventory.
Yeah, but
the consequences were what got me to stop drinking.
Yeah,
I had some times where I really enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, man.
Now I'm not saying go out. The consequences are enough. Yeah, there's a reason I don't do it. I'm not advocating go out.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
All right, and then. You had another story where you got really comfortable calling in fake prescriptions.
Oh, yeah, I worked in medicine. I worked for different doctors and stuff. And part of that was I would call in medication for actual patients. Mm-hmm. And I would call in prescriptions for myself or for other people that I knew to different pharmacies and stuff. And this is back, in early 2000 or 2006, 2007, 2008, when pharmacies weren't linked. So nobody, you could call... Nobody knew about what anybody else was doing. And I had called into the Kroger pharmacy just down the street from my house and talked to the pharmacist, Pam, who knows me and my family. Knows me. Called the script in or whatever.
Did you use your name when you got it?
I used my own name, yeah. I used my own name. And she even said, I'll be ready in 15 minutes for you, Paul. And I didn't think about that until I was sitting in the back of the cop car when I got arrested.
Okay, so once you were in the cop car, you started thinking about how your
I didn't need, this thing is messed up about it, I didn't need more pain pills. I had a whole shelf at the house full of pain pills. I was just calling another one so I'd have extra.
Okay, and do you think you got so lazy just because you were so comfortable doing it?
I did it all the time.
Yeah, so...
it was, I got way too comfortable.
And what was the charge on that?
It was BGSA, Violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, which got dropped down to a conspiracy charge. They just said that I conspired to do it even though I did it. But
once again, the prosecutor was trying to work with you.
They wanted me to get first offender at the time period, so I wouldn't lose my career.
Okay, so he wasn't trying to ruin your life or anything.
No.
He was just trying to correct the behavior.
Correct.
All right, that's good. Good to hear. And then, so conspiracy sounds diabolical, but your plan was not really well thought out. I think the conspiracy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. So, were you able to maintain first offender?
No, I was not able to maintain. I ended up violating with about 6 months left on probation or whatever with a battery charge. My stepfather and I got in a fist fight over pain pills. Like I was saving. I stopped taking the pain medication. I was trying to prove to my wife that I wasn't on drugs anymore, so I didn't take my pain medication. I wanted to show her the full bottle, the complete script or whatever, and my stepdad was stealing them from me, so we got in a fist fight, and they took me to jail for that. I violated my first offender with a battery charge.
Oh, okay, so you violate, and you say you were fighting over the pain pills. Were they not drug testing you on?
Oh, no, I never, I've been on probation since 2006. I've had 2 drug tests ever.
Oh, okay.
It's not, I don't have... I never had drug charges, so nobody. I mean, it's not. If I would have went in the office messed up or something, I'm sure they would have said you need to pee in this cup. But
okay. And after you became unable to work in medicine, like your field that you say you love is being a surge tech.
Yes.
After you lost that, did that just become like a downward spiral?
Oh, that was the end of it. I just didn't care anymore.
So
I just didn't care. Some people can paint, some people can draw, some people can play music. flesh was my art. Surgery was what I did. I was very good at my job. I liked my job a lot. I planned on getting my doctorate, but that didn't happen. Once that
happened, it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
What's the point of taking my psych?
I was already going to hell in a handbasket, so I just figured
So I just went downward spiral.
Exactly.
And you became homeless?
Oh yeah, I was homeless for about 3 years. I lived in an abandoned house. I was sober a year of that, straight.
Were you taking medicine while you were homeless?
No, I was not. No, I didn't take medication while I was homeless. I didn't actually start taking. I've been locked up a couple different times and got put on medication. Then, once I didn't have insurance, and I lived in Cherokee County at that time period. I couldn't make it to the health department in Cherokee County. Now I have supportive housing through Must Ministries and HUD. I live one road down from county services. I can be at the Cobb CSB for all my appointments. I'm on medication now. I get Invega Sustaina 117 milligram injection once a month. I take Seroquel and I take Depakote.
People think of homelessness as being a more urban thing. How many homeless people did you encounter in the northern suburbs of Atlanta?
Marietta has tons of them, but Cherokee County, not really very many people.
Okay. No.
How many? Well, there's all the guys that stay right there at Wade Green and 92.
Wade Green and 92 at the Hamilton Inn.
Yeah, well, not even Hamilton Inn. There's a gas station right there on the corner, and they used to live in the woods.
Behind the woods, so a lot of there's a charity, Forever Fed, that brings food out there.
Yeah.
Okay, and so basically, how many homeless people have your level of education? Like your certificate?
Not many that I know. I don't know any that have an education.
So that there's not a lot of people that have professional jobs that kind of fell.
Yeah.
Okay, so
addiction definitely ruined my life. Asia, the wife or whatever, we're still married technically, but we've been separated since 2010. But we separated because of my addiction.
And was that before or after you lost the ability to work in medicine?
2010 is when I lost the ability. I've worked in medicine since 2010, but the places I worked, I didn't do a background check. I worked as a surgical tech for a couple of different gastroenterologists that I just worked, in office or not, but just gastroenterology is not really surgery. It's a procedure, and I just processed instrumentation and would set up for them, but I worked doing that for a while.
Mm-hmm. All right, and Must Ministries. Do you have to be homeless to get into a Must Ministry HUD house?
I believe you have to be either homeless, mental illness, or vet to get in through them. I was homeless and had mental health. I just got a letter from my doctor, and then a couple people from the Howell place wrote letters telling me that they had known me. I'd been homeless for over 3 years or whatever,
So
and they wrote
So as people from the Howell place, for those of you who don't live in the Woodstock, Kennesaw area, it's a clubhouse. It's a 12-step clubhouse.
Yes.
Okay. And people there were able to write letters. And were these people known by Must Ministry?
No. It was just they were just I think I had to have one letter or something from somebody, but I had
one of the biggest things that people complain about, and it sounds like what you're saying is not true, is that if you're an elderly person and you have an adult child with a mental illness, do I have to wait for them to be homeless to get into supportive housing? But you're saying you could just be mentally ill.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really good to know. So then you went to the Must Ministry housing, and you still had some trouble with the law while you were there.
Well, I had when I was there, I had pending charges when I got into supportive housing. It took the charges that I had was a shoplifting from almost 3 years ago. Well, it's actually been over 3 years now, but it was 3 years when I went to court, and then my second DUI had been 3 years when I went to court.
And you were homeless while you were shoplifting.
Yes.
A lot of mentally ill people with addiction. When they shoplift, they're not. Did you even realize you were doing anything wrong?
I'm sure. I knew I wasn't supposed to be doing it. But,
okay.
I was. The charge, the last one I'm speaking of, or whatever. I was drunk out my ass. I don't.
So you were intoxicated.
Yeah.
So they were. It's pretty easy to catch you.
Yeah. And I ran my mouth in the back of the cop car, saying crazy stuff to that police. And then I got to the jail and I was soaking wet, and I threw my clothes at him, butt naked, sitting in the holding cell. Throwing my clothes at the officer. Yeah, it was. It was not my fondest moment, but it was funny.
Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes, Well, it's good that the cop was able to show restraint. And
yeah. I'm not I mean, like I'm a white male. You know, they don't really beat up on us. Unfortunately, that's how that works. I was completely in the wrong. They had every reason
I can see
to jump on me, but it doesn't happen.
All right, well that's good. Well, good for the officer. And
Yeah.
So when you went to the judge before the shoplifting incident, what happened with that?
Well, that technically was my 5th shoplifting, and after 4 in the state of Georgia, it's considered a felony. Like, so I would have had, and it has a minimum mandatory 1 year in jail, 1 to 10 actually, what it calls for, and so I was supposed to go to prison for a year. No, do not pass go, do not collect $200. I had to go. And my attorney said, "No, that's not going to happen today. I'm going to go ahead and talk to the judge because you're on your mental health meds now. You weren't on mental health meds then. You have supportive housing now. You're not going to get this stuff back if we put you in prison."
So the jail, that they were afraid you wouldn't be able to get the treatment you needed.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was almost like a compassionate release.
Yeah. So they court ordered me to stay on my medication, to continue to go to Cobb CSB for my treatment, and to stay in supportive housing. If I break from any one of them, I'll get locked back up or whatever. But you know, it worked out really well.
All
Like
right.
it's the first time where my mental illness actually saved me in a way. I don't know how to do it.
All right, Paul. So how much time do you have free from drugs and alcohol?
Right about 2 years now.
How long has it been since you've been arrested?
Well, I mean, I went to jail for those charges while I've been in MUS. So.
But as far as new charges?
New charges been 3 years.
And you were able to keep your must house when you did your time for your charges?
I was only locked up for 25 days in DeKalb and then 3 days in Rockdale to finish up my last charges. But yeah.
Okay, so you finished up your charges, and do you plan to continue working your program and taking your meds?
Yes, definitely. I mean, like the mental, being in stable housing and being on proper medication, I don't have the desire to drink or do drugs. I don't have to do it. Before, it was self-medicating where I had to do it because I was unhappy with myself and unhappy with my situation, and so I would do it to escape. But since the way things are now, I just don't have there's not an excuse for it. I don't have to do it, and so I just choose not to.
Well, good for you, Paul. And Paul, thank you. I'm really proud of you, and thanks for coming on the Eric on the Last Taboo. And thank you for listening, and tune in next week.